listening to Speaking Of, a new podcast by Milwaukee PBS. I'm Alexandria Mack.
And I'm Mariano Avila.
And I'm Scottie Meyers, and we're your hosts of Speaking Of.
It's a podcast about hyper-local stories
that link to national and global issues.
So grab your coffee.
Or kombucha.
Because this is journalism with a coffee break twist.
Basically, we're obsessed with Milwaukee.
Or in my case, getting to know Milwaukee.
Right, because you're new here. Well, welcome to Milwaukee, Mariano.
Thank you.
See, these are really personal stories, like being new here.
Or in your case, Lexi, using real estate to build intergenerational wealth.
Or growing up in a white majority suburb grappling with race, like where you grew up, Scottie.
Exactly. And taking your time to tell your stories the right way.
Lots and lots of interviews, lots and lots of writing.
And editing.
And conversations we have about these stories.
Okay, Lexi, so you're up first. Tell us a little bit about your stories.
So my stories center around Black people in Milwaukee, past and present, working to build legacies through intergenerational wealth. Here's a little taste of what's to come with Sherry Williams-Pinnell, who's a local playwright and arts enthusiast.
The Bronzeville neighborhood, especially during its heyday, signified progress, hope, success, the ability to achieve dreams. One of the ways we can acknowledge the fulfillment of these dreams is the fact that there were over 200 businesses that were fully operational and serving the residents of Bronzeville. And I say serving the residents of Bronzeville is because during this time, as I mentioned, the de facto segregation, Black people depended upon these businesses to get what they needed.
Okay, so who's next? What are your stories about?
That would be me. So my story, which is told over 3 episodes, is about a Black History Month resolution written by a group of Black and brown students that proved to be too controversial for the city of Brookfield. I want to play this clip by Brookfield Alderman Mike Halquist. Let's give it a listen.
Instead, we get a proclamation by one person, which, again, whitewashes and revises history to say, let's put a quote-unquote positive spin. I'm not here for that. It's not my job to put a positive spin on racism. It's my job to tell the truth. I take that very seriously.
Okay, last but not least, in cleanup, Mariano, tell us about your stories.
Mine is really about home, which sounds abstract, but Milwaukee is my new home. And what it means to me as a Mexican immigrant, having lived in the Midwest for 20 years, but moving from West Michigan to Milwaukee is very different to what it means to Ron, who is a Native American man whose ancestors have been here for 30,000 years, or what it means to Mariam, who is an Afghan refugee that just came here like 3 months ago. So I want to play a clip from Ron Greiger, who is Native American.
So when you're living on the res, you're living totally different than you are living on the Milwaukee area in the city. And I say that because it's very different. They treat you differently, they talk to you differently, they act differently. They know that you're urban, you're not quite a real native, so to speak.
This is our maiden voyage. The podcast launches today, February 11th, and new Speaking Of episodes drop every Friday.
That means each of us gets the steering wheel for 3 episodes and some bonus content that we'll release in between.
So listen wherever you get your podcast and on MilwaukeePBS.org.
Without further ado, go ahead and listen to our first official episode
By the fabulous Alexandria Mack.
Here we go.